The 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show would not be possible without the support of our gracious partners. We want to say a big thank you to Modern Systems, Lake Cumberland Bank, H Engineering Services, Alton Lake Ford, Weddell Enterprises, and the Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital. Our thanks also to Hendrickson, Eagle Contracting Company, Modern Science and Graphics, TTAI, Toyotetsu America, Fuels, FAFY of Kentucky, and of course to our presenting sponsors. SPIDA is a co-presenting sponsor of the 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show. SPIDA strives to provide opportunities that foster business growth, improve workforce development, increase tourism, and encourage industry leaders. SPIDA has provided tremendous help in the production of Lake Cumberland Air Show since the beginning, and we thank them for their continued support. And to Don Franklin Auto Group, the Don Franklin family extends over 24 dealerships across the Commonwealth on the flight line at any time. We also want to make sure you stay hydrated. It's very easy to get dried out here on the airport tarmac. So again, we want to make sure that you lather up on plenty of sunscreen, drink up on plenty of fluids, water especially. Keep yourself comfortable. If you start to feel under the weather, you just flag down one of our volunteers, and we'll certainly get you some support as we progress. We also again want to remind you that there's a chance for you to take flight here today. We also want to be mindful of any trash that you may accumulate today as well. The Lake Cumberland Regional Airport is a fully operational airfield, and at the conclusion of the closure, it will be fully operational. So we ask that you please put your items in the proper receptacles and see if you some trash bags without doing your part to help us keep things tidy and ultimately safe. We're going to kick off officially at 12:30 this afternoon with our opening ceremonies and our anthem that will start. J85 afterburning turbojet, which is the same power plant used on board Northrop T-38 jet trainers, still operated by the U.S. Air Force today. Dave Motter is going to be running it up for a bit of a preview of power in this one-of-a-kind jet vehicle. He'll be back a little bit later on in our show for his second high-speed run, but now to bring the fire and the heat, Dave Motter lights this candle to officially mark us underway for the start of this year's show. This truck started out as a 1940s Ford pickup truck. Its chassis is now 82 years old. The folks at Ford never in their wildest dreams thought this thing would be running in 2022, much less with a jet engine strapped to the back of it. And now, let's watch and listen as Dave Motter works his way out, works the afterburner, and brings us some fire and smoke. This truck generating a grand total of 6,000 pounds of thrust. Dave Motter is the driver of the Dragon's Fire jet truck, a certified car guy and a certified aviation mechanic. Dave restored this vehicle in 2011 to replace his aging jet dragster. After competing on the national NHRA jet circuit, Dave also participates around the country in special events such as air shows. A love affair of his is a commercial pilot, flying for a major airline and logging in over 12,000 total flying hours. Today, Dave gets his need for speed not only in the air, but also on the ground as we continue to watch as he brings the heat. Those afterburner flames coming out the back, nearly 60 feet long. lighting it up out there. 6,000 pounds of thrust coming out the back, a nearly 4-to-1 thrust ratio, meaning that if we ever wanted to, we could actually stand this truck up on end and it would accelerate vertically like the space shuttle. That's how much power this thing has. Capable of over 200 miles an hour in just a matter of seconds. We're going to see a high-speed run momentarily as he takes on our mile-long runway out in front of us. This truck weighing in at over 1,500 pounds. The Dragon's Fire jet truck burns 30 gallons of Jet A during this run, burning 2 gallons a second while on afterburner. That's one truck I certainly would not want to tailgate on the highway. The speed today, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere near 210 or 220 miles an hour. Upon brake release, he'll be pressed into the seat with nearly 4 times the force of gravity as he rapidly accelerates. In the cockpit now, going through his last second pre-flight checks, or I should say last second pre-run checks, as he goes in with what this is going to be a high-speed run down our runway. We watch him now as we are now on the road. 210, 225.2 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, how about that? Let's put our hands together for Dave Motter and the Dragon's Fire jet truck. AT-6 Texan, known as the Harvard, an aircraft affectionately known as the Pilot Maker. It trained thousands of Allied airmen during World War II. It is by far one of the most classic and iconic aircraft of the 1940s. Skipper's going to be taken off to set up for his air start in just a couple of moments, and we'll continue to move some of the aircraft around as we continue with the beginning of our formal air show display. Air shows brought to you in part by Hooker Harness, Champion Aerospace, Wheelan Aerospace Technologies, CamGuard, Concord Battery, Battery Minder, Flight Fix, David Clark Headsets, PS Engineering, ICOM Radios, Oregon Aero, My Go Flight, and of course, American Champion. Our Air Boss currently working to release these 2 aircraft for takeoff, and as we set up for Greg Kuntz's performance today, we're actually going to go up live to the cockpit and talk to Greg as he flies through many of his maneuvers here today. And of course, with many of our performers making their way in and out of the hot pit area in front of us with the engines going and the canopies closed, they certainly can't hear you, but they certainly can see you. So we do encourage a lot of animation. Wave your hands, wave your hats in appreciation for their great aerial performance. And in fact, they will give us a direct read of just how fast that truck gets going. 600 horsepower, the sound of round of that radial engine as we get Skipper high up in the air. And momentarily we will be launching Greg Kuntz for his full aerobatic routine. Greg Kuntz, of course, award-winning, the 2014 recipient of the Bill Barber Award for Showmanship, one of the highest honors given annually at the annual EAA AirVenture Air Show up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin by World Air Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go up live to the cockpit with Greg Kuntz and see if we can say hello. Hello, Greg Kuntz. How do you copy?
And I got you loud and clear, and here I come. Yeah!
Well, here you come. The smoke is on, and whoa, here you go. Inverted flight right on takeoff. We're going to watch as he pushes out negative G's as he sets up into the right end of our air show box.
All right. We're going to have a good day today. What a beautiful day for an air show.
Greg, it is a fantastic day. The airplane is looking outstanding, and you're going to be setting up for a display of aerobatics at an airplane that has quite a lot of history and is by far one of the most popular aerobatic training airplanes. Tell me a little bit about the airplane you're flying today.
Yeah, this is American Champion Super Decathlon. And it's a aerobatic trainer, basically. It's what most people that you see out here doing professional aerobatics and air shows, they cut their teeth on. It's the American Champion. I just happen to sell them. And so I'm out here to display them for you and show them off a bit, because it is a very good flying airplane, being a forgiving and easy airplane to fly at the same time, making it an excellent trainer. So I'll give me a little altitude here, Luke, so I can turn that altitude into energy. Then I'm going to start a display here. And the first part of the display, we're going to do some good old basic stuff, challenge the airplane a little bit with some of it, and just show it off. So everybody look over to their right. I'm coming in. I'm going to dive in and get some speed, and here we go. Started with an avalanche. Remember what that is, bud?
Indeed so. The avalanche maneuver, it's a loop with a snap roll on the top. Let's watch as he pulls back on the stick, gets on top, puts in a bunch of rudder, right stick, and rotates that airplane all the way around. Well, Greg, that looked fantastic for a nice, beautiful textbook avalanche. What are we looking for next?
Okay, I'm going to turn the airplane around with a hammerhead. We'll pop in a quarter roll on the way up on this hammerhead just to show you the top of the airplane. And then do my hammerhead, another quarter until I come back in front of everybody. Let's do a little roll off the top of the loop this time. Just show off the roll capability of this airplane, even though it's a trainer. Pretty docile. All right, here we go. Up for a loop and a roll over the top.
Over the top, Greg Kuntz, watch him as he rolls the airplane over to the left. And Greg, we're watching you roll the airplane, and even at slow speeds, the American champion decathlon, as you mentioned, a great trainer, very stable, and pretty decent roll rate as well. Not as fast as the Pitt Special like we'll see later, but again, a great introductory airplane for aerobatics. Watch him as he continues on the 90-degree upline. Runs out of speed.
Stuff it can do. It's, like I said, it's a docile little airplane. You don't get disappointed when you fly one, I tell you. All right, I just love Humvees. I like the vertical. I like to show off this airplane, even though it's not super duper horsepower. It's got the ability to go up. These big Humvees kind of show it off. Go to a complete stop, flip the plane over, pitch-wise, and bring it down the other side.
Very good, looks great. And I'll tell you, Greg, I'm amazed that you and I can just sit here and have a conversation while you're flying up there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty cool. Let's make some noise for Greg Kuntz so we can hear you in the cockpit. Hear that, Greg?
Yeah! Thank you. Woo! Picking up speed now. Got some guys down there on the runway. See what they're doing.
Very good. We'll talk a little bit about that as you set up for the next maneuver. Well, right now, you'll notice a couple of people out there on the runway in some bright vests out there, and they have two poles.
They're setting up a ribbon for me down there, so the first thing I do is I try to harass them a little bit, see if they're going to jump, and run. So I want to do a little Cuban 8 for them and see if they're paying attention.
Well, it looks like the poles are coming up, and you're completing the big classic Cuban 8, the big figure 8 laying on its side. So what he's going to do is get another good look at it, actually this time going underneath the ribbon, just a few inches above the ground. Greg, down there at Jackrabbit scaring altitudes.
Yeah, I moved a few of them. I saw a frog duck right there on the runway.
Well, good deal. We'll have you run in there and set up for a hot run on the ribbon.
Now, we're going to get a little space and see if I get my bifocals in the right place, because this is hard. This is real hard. So it's all about getting right down there where that ribbon is. And just to make it fun, we're going to do it upside down.
And that's one thing I didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Kuntz is actually going to cut this ribbon while flying inverted, upside down. Cameras at the ready. Watch him now as he pulls back on the stick, rolls over.
The ribbon. She did.
Uh-oh.
She said the wind broke the ribbon.
I think the ribbon did break with the wind out there.
All right, we're going to get another setup on that. The ribbon broke before I got there. It must have been scared of me.
It probably was. Is that a successful ribbon cut, Greg?
Yeah, do I do? Do I get the long that one? All right, this is going to take him just a second. This just keeps the suspense going. I don't know about you, but it's pretty good.
Now it just takes a few inches on that stick left to right to roll all the way around. Great roll rate on the Super Decathlon as Greg Kuntz continues off to air show left.
And that's the multi-roll. You're going to see Charlie do this at the end of the decathlon. Charlie Morris at it, and later, and he's doing his very first air show today. And when you do a multi-roll decathlon, you're showing off that you know how to fly a decathlon. I want you to watch it today to see what that looks like. Coming in for a big old barrel roll. Good old military-style barrel roll.
Big old barrel roll, starting and stopping the airplane at the same altitude, the same heading, and the same speed, all the way through a big giant 360-degree, kind of like a big barrel laying on its side out there.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Kuntz is having no fun whatsoever. Hey, don't get too far in the trees there, Greg.
Okay, here come zipping by here and do a little salute to veterans. Sway into all my shows. It's my last pass. And this is just a salute to all the veterans and the military, active military people out there that have put all their lives in danger so we can be out here on a Saturday afternoon enjoying ourselves. Here's a God Bless America. All right, I'll let someone else have some of the fun. Thanks a whole lot, Luke. And thank you, everybody, for coming out to the air show on a day like today.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg. Over to Boss. We'll talk to you later. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear it all the way up and down the line, if you will. A big round of applause for Greg Kuntz and the American champion Super Decathlon. Dave Motter coming down the line in the Don Franklin parade car. Be sure to give him a big wave as he comes by as we recover Greg Kuntz. And the air show action continues here at the 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show, presented by Don Franklin Auto Group.
When you come back down.
Greg again wants to thank his sponsors, American Champion Aircraft, Hooker Harness, Champion Aerospace, Wheelan Aerospace Technologies, CamGuard, Concord Battery, ICOM, Oregon Aero, and My Go Flight.
Get too high, I'll catch you when you fall. Catch you when you fall.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Asheville, Alabama, Greg Kuntz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Skipper Heil and the North American Harvard as we go back in time to the 1940s and listen to some big band music as we turn things over to Skipper's son to tell you all about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Heil, and that is my dad, Captain Skipper Heil, in our 1952 Harvard Mark IV. What he is about to do is going to recreate a last stage aerobatic check and single engine training in World War II. In 1941, the Army Air Corps had about 175,000 men in total. By 1943, we had 250,000 pilots alone. All of them had to be trained, as did that of our allies. Between the Air Corps flying the T-6, the Navy flying the S&J, and the British Commonwealth flying the Harvard, all single-engine pilots would have finished up in one of the 15,000 that North American built. He's nailed the parameters, stayed in the box, and demonstrated excellent control of the aircraft as well as situational awareness. Jumping back to the present, Dad is going to bring her by for a photo pass. Though she is a 1952 Harvard Mark IV, painted as a 1942 Mark II, she represents all the T-6s, S&Js, and Harvards flew during the war, and all the men that flew in her and trained in them as well. Though it is doubtful we will ever see anything that compares to that took place in the 40s, as strategic bombing gives way to drones and helicopters in Iraq and Afghanistan. Still, within living memory, men took to the sky in 1,000 planes formations and fought major battles 5 miles high. To them, we say thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jay Heil. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for Skipper Heil and today's performance in the North American World War II era AT-6, the Harvard. Skipper joining us for the first time here at the Lake Cumberland.
Aircraft very difficult is the fact it's hard to take off and particularly land them if you've got a gusty crosswind. They call the T-6 the Harvard, the terrible Texan. Many of them were built by North American Aviation out of Dallas, Texas, and many on license. And the biggest thing with tailwheel flying is all about the center of gravity. So as you watch Skipper Heil touch down out there in front of us, you'll notice he'll just grease it on in, actually holding it and continuing to fly the airplane, letting that tailwheel come down and just kiss the ground. If you come in too far forward of that center of gravity, there's the potential that you put the airplane up on its nose. You could damage the propeller, you could damage the engine. That's never a good thing. And if you come in too far aft of that center of gravity, there is the potential that you put all that landing weight on the little tail wheel back there, and that's never a good thing either. So the T-6 in the Harvard was the last type of aircraft as an advanced trainer before our Allied pilots went on during World War II to fly the frontline fighters of the time. Think the P-51 Mustang or the P-47 Thunderbolt or even the P-40 Warhawk that we have here on display that we'll see here in just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, from high and overhead, Vine Grove, Kentucky, please make welcome Charlie Morris to the 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show. If you would, please join me in a nice round of applause for Charlie Morris and the Cat Line. A little wing wave as well as he makes his departure. Charlie is now completing his routine. He's going to set up to land, and as he brings it in, we're so thrilled to be part of this moment with Charlie, and of course the beginning of what's going to be a great airshow career for this young man. We're going to get turned around. He's going to make his way into our up ramp area. As I mentioned, we'll give it up one final time for Charlie Morris. Just a couple moments away now from launching the World War II era Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. 2 as the P-40 is on the takeoff roll. The P-40 Warhawk, the mainstay of the Army Airport during the early part of the 1940s. It saw action up through 1943, but out of some of the 13,000 that were built by Curtiss Aircraft, only a handful of P-40s continue to fly today. This one you see. The Curtiss P-40 ultimately struggled to keep up with the advances of rival designs. It was the first line of early defense during the war, going toe-to-toe with enemy Japanese aircraft on that fateful day, December 7, 1941. It provided adequate air-to-air performance for the approach low to the right. Tom arrived in the United States when he was just 17 years old. Tom Now here at the Lake Cumberland Regional Airport, we have our aerobatic box in front of us, which here today is about 4,700 feet long by about 1,500 feet wide away from the surface at 8,000 feet. And it's inside this protected piece of airspace that our pilots can do what they do best. And well, because that aerobatic box is scaled, Tom Richard at the P-40, everybody. How about that? A big round of applause for him. And, well, the hardest part of Tom's routine is simply convincing Tom to land. It's not always an easy thing to do. And again, our thanks to Tom Richard, the Lake Cumberland Air Show since the beginning, and we thank them for their continued support. Also, a big shout out to our corporate partners, Modern Systems, out in Blakely Ford, United Cumberland Bank, Age Engineering Services Incorporated, and Weddell Enterprises. Our thanks to all of our partners for their gracious support of this year's show. Lake Cumberland Regional Airport, a fully operational airfield. At the conclusion of the show today, will remain fully operational. So if you don't mind, be sure to place your items in the proper receptacles. And if you see a piece of trash out and about, please do your part to help us keep things tidy and ultimately safe. We call that in the aviation business as foreign object debris, or FOD for short. Big wave to Tom Richard, taxiing down the line in the beautiful P-40 Warhawk. What an awesome airplane. What a great performance we had a chance to see. And we will see some more high-speed action here in just a couple of moments as Brian Carell takes our runway and prepares for takeoff. And now to start things off very gracefully, and I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, from all the way from Manhattan, Kansas, let's give a big Somerset welcome to Brian Carell, the P-40. With a snack roll right after takeoff, Brian starts his air show routine with power. And with that smoke on, he's going to pick up the airspeed and set up for his first sequence of maneuvers. Now, unlike other aerobatic pilots, Brian did not grow up in an aviation family, but he has certainly made up for it. He's clocked over 9,000 hours of flight time in his career, and get this, more than 100 different kinds of aircraft. book. He went on to earn his skydiving instructor rating and later learned to fly, gaining his commercial and flight instructor certificates. Now, throwing this just special across the necktie, spinning it back down towards the ground as he pulls back on the stick, subjecting at times to nearly 9 times the force of gravity. Watch it now as he holds it on the prop, showcasing that 1-to-1 thrust ratio, turn around and a hammerhead turn going around not once, but twice. How about that, Somerset? Let's make some noise for Brian Carell and the Pit Special S2S. In 2003, Brian started flying aerobatics when he had the chance to sit in the front seat of a Pitts biplane and take a ride. His life changed, and in 2005, he attended Air Force pilot training, competing at the top of his class. He went on to become an instructor pilot in the Cal Air Force Base in Kansas, flying the KC-135 aerial tanker and now the KC-46 Pegasus. He has flown operations and sorties around the globe, including combat missions in the Middle East. Watch now as he trades that altitude for airspeed for altitude as he goes into this maneuver we call the flip top. Tumbling, nose for tail, tail for nose. Where does it stop? Only Brian And it has to feel right. This has to make sense. So the first thing that Brian's going to do is go underneath that ribbon, get a good look at it, climb out, get his eyes back on, and that will help calibrate, if you can believe that, his run-in for what will be his ribbon cut. Very tiny cockpit, as I've said, no air conditioning on board. They do wear flight suits made of a Nomex type material in case of fire, and it can get pretty hot inside that cockpit. But I want you to watch now, ladies and gentlemen, from the right. Brian Carell is inbound. This will be the hot pass. Get your cameras ready. Let's see if he can do it. And oh, by the way, what I didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to do it while flying upside down. Here we go. And cha-ching, he got it, ladies and gentlemen, of the 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show presented by Don Franklin Auto Group. Let's give it up for Brian Carell and the incredible inverted ribbon cuts. Supercharged 6.2-liter V8 gives out a great deal of performance. Driven today by Dave Cummins, a mechanic and professional driver. Don Franklin, you're going to witness some of the capabilities of this modern-day muscle hot rod as the Corvette rips down our runway from 0 to whatever he wants to in that mile-plus of tarmac we've got out in front of us. Brian Carell high above us and to our left, working to taunt that Corvette just a little bit. That car working its way on to Brian's turn. The 2022 Chevy Corvette Series currently for sale. Don Franklin, with its sleek lines and commanding presence, its power pays off from a standing start. And again from the right, what we like to call cat and mouse. Here comes Brian Carell. Dave Cummins and the Corvette to our left. Oh, that's a little pass. John, I'm going to need another pair of pants after that one, to be honest. I'm going to get these shorts, that'd be great. All right, Brian Carell's going to continue to taunt the car a little bit. They're going to work their way down to the right. We're going to have a little bit of a race. Now, we're not probably going to see the speeds that we saw earlier with the Dragon's Fire jet truck, but it's going to be a pretty cool race indeed. And of course, Don Franklin Auto Group, again, proud to be part of this substantial community event and service as our presenting sponsor as we get ready for a little wings versus wheels from the right. In 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Brian Carell holding the biplane, what appears to be hinge shifts off the top of that car. work their way down. That's going to be about 180 miles an hour. I don't know who took the win on that one, but that was pretty cool. Did you like that, ladies and gentlemen? Cool. Let's do it. Brian Carell touching down up there in front of us. Pit special S2S. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we get to the back stretch of our featured performances here at the 2022 Lake Cumberland Air Show presented by Don Franklin Auto Group, I have one simple question for all of you. Are you having a good time? I don't know. Y'all yell louder at Kentucky games, so we'll try it one more time. Are you having a good time? Very good. Us too. That's what we like to hear. And we have more to come, ladies and gentlemen, as we still have the Dragon's Fire jet truck that's going to fire it up. Got a big height. Bob, that's a pretty, yeah, throw the hat. I'm about to do the same. Uh-oh. No. I think, I don't know how this is going to end. He's in the air. But it doesn't look like he's going to be in the air very long. Well, that was a short flight. Stand by, right? We do. We have all emergency. Oh, there he is. He's back again. I'm going to run back up to the stand and see whether or not we can actually talk to Clem Cleaver or whatever the guy's name is, and see if we can talk to him on the radio and see if we can get him back on the ground. We put on the headset here. Let's see. I don't even know. Bob, does he even have a radio in the airplane? Let's see if he probably doesn't know how to talk. Yellow airplane. This is the announcer. This is the announcer. If you can hear me, rock your wings. No, other rock your wings. Okay. John, I don't know. I think I need to call the authorities. I'm afraid we don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know what we're going to do at this point. I think that he might just simply run out of gas or something. But Clint Cleveland's in that airplane and flying down the show line here, flying sideways. And I don't know if he hasn't been able to respond to me on the radio, but he's, yeah, airplane's not supposed to fly like that. No siree. Well, he's about to go for the trees. Oh, so close to the trees. Shadow go over top of it. Well, let's see here. He's landing. Yellow airplane. If you can hear me, pull back on the stick a little bit. Okay, I think you're hearing me inside. Go ahead and push forward. Ease forward on the stick just a little bit. There we go. And yeah, John, I think he has his brake and accelerator pedal mixed up. Those are rudder pedals. They're not brake and accelerator. And he continues to fly sideways out there. Clem, if you can hear me flying airplane, people think it's really difficult, really not. You pull back on the stick, the houses get smaller. You push forward on the stick, the houses get bigger. If you pull back on the stick too far, the houses get bigger. I have no idea what you hear. Small airplane there. If you get it slower, it's spinning. Flying sideways again. And this is just, I don't know. This is a new one for me. I don't know if we should send a truck down there, or I don't know. I can't. No, John, I can't. I tried to pull him up on the frequency, and I'm just not sure if you can hear me. But it's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, he's right over top of the runway, so it looks like he might be attempting to come in and land. Hey, Grandpa, you're out there with the gun. See if you can get a shot on or something. There you go. Oh, Grandpa, you shot his tire off. That's not. Well, we got a wheel problem now. Yeah, put the movie up there. Grandpa, he shot his tire off. one, I think that's called progressive landing. Instead of landing the airplane all at once, you land it 1 time. So, he's coming. Hold on. Listen. Is he? He's screaming at the cockpit up there. All right. Do we have a plan? I'm kind of out of options on this one, John. The ERP doesn't talk about this one. No, we can't scramble an F-16. I don't know if the DOD would be cool with that one. Hey, Grandpa, you're out there with that goose gun. Why don't you try to get a hit on his engine there on the front of the nose? Get him like you shoot those squirrels down there, Grandpa. Down there east Teboga, Alabama. Oh, I think he got it. Good. Yeah, he's got oil in. He's not going to fly for too much. It comes up from Grandpa. He ain't going to fly for too much longer. And it seems to end up good shooting there, Grandpa. And he's still at it. It might take just a couple of moments here to let that cooling develop and run out of oil. Certainly, we can pick that up. Bob, I hope you had that airplane insured. No, you can. What's Grandpa doing? He's getting the. Well, maybe they're going to move the truck or something. Wait a minute. What? You're going to do what? Did I hear that right? We can, in Alabama, we can put anything on the back of a pickup truck? They're going to put on the top of the truck. Now, well, in Alabama they might. Here in Kentucky, we have laws. But I've been on I-75. I'm not sure how many of those laws are followed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if this is a surprise to you, so, but the individual flying that Piper Cub out there is not a guy from East Teboga, Alabama, named Clint Cleaver, Pickford's grandpa, but rather the incomparable Greg Coots. Greg Masterson, grandpa, they all Alabama boys, are keeping showcase to you how to land an airplane on a moving pickup truck. Now, it's a tip. People all have to make sense. We're going to watch Greg Coots does something that never happened in the Piper J3 Cub and goes in for a full roundhouse loop. Now, Greg Masterson, second half of the Alabama boys, he's down there in the Dodge pickup truck, and the goal is that truck's going to be on the roll, and it's going to accelerate to about 55 miles an hour, just over the stall speed of the Piper J3 Cub that Greg is flying out there on in our aerobatic box. The goal again is to land that airplane on top of this truck. Greg is heading inbound. Fred, Grandpa are on the roll. Let's watch. We're going to watch it. A little bit of turbulent air. We're going to watch. The objective for Greg Coots is to put both of those tires on top of that platform on top of the truck. He's getting real close. Oh, no! He said it what to do on that pass. They're going to reposition. That platform on top has two divots for the landing gear in the front of that platform structure. And Greg has to be very careful to drive that truck at approximate speed. And once when Greg gets in those divots, he has to slow the truck down without throwing the airplane off the top. Do not try this at home. This one. So we're going to watch. They're coming in for their pass. Listening to the frequency here. Let's see if we can hear them talk. All right, here's a tip number 2 you, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have those cameras out and going, now's the time to do so. Watch them now. Watch the main gear on top of that truck. Now, here's the hard part. He has to continue to push forward and get those landing gear right into the pivot right there. Now, he's not done. He's still flying the tail, flying the tail. Brent slowing the truck down. And he's secure. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Greg Goods and Greg Masterson. They are the Alabama boys. Effectively making that pickup truck the world's smallest airport. Perhaps you could even call it an aircraft carrier at this point. So now with Greg out of the Big 17 is operated still today by many airlines around the world. Up until the introduction of the F-16 fighting Falcon in the 1970s, this aircraft was the highest training fighting jet anywhere in the world. It served as the primary adversary aircraft against Western fighters for the majority of the 60s and up through the 1990s, and this one today is civilian owned. He holds a fast formation lead card and a statement of aerobatic competency. Taxiing out to the runway, we prepare for this afterburning performance in the MiG-17. Over 9,000 MiGs were built, the MiG-17, and today you're going to witness a thunderous jet performance powered by the Klimov VK1 afterburning turbojet engine that produces some 7,600 pounds of thrust while in afterburning. Now completing his takeoff checks, he's now on the roll. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Soviet Union for its eastern blocks. The MiG-17 goes down in history as one of the most accomplished aircraft in the eastern hemisphere. As Michael Turker repositions high and to our left, he will approach inbound and give you a great look at this classic Soviet jet fighter in flight. We'll also tell you how significant this aircraft and its technology, which we were able to obtain by defecting pilots during Now, you might be asking, why in the world are we flying a Russian jet in American airspace? Well, at the end of the collapse of the suit, loading out the tailpipe. Michael will now demonstrate this in this little radius tube. And again, this aircraft, one of the tightest turning airplanes anywhere in the world up until the F-16. We are now going to go up live in the cockpit with Michael Turfer. He's going to set up for a high-speed pass and see if we can talk to him on the radio. Michael, how do you copy? Mike Turfer in the MiG-17. From the right, just 100 feet above the ground, here's the MiG-17.